Hello and welcome to SOUQ Pulse. It's a very beautiful, cold Friday to be precise in Lagos, Nigeria. And for those that are wondering, it's a very beautiful weather, I must confess. And I will repeat this again. If you're still looking at yourself and asking where, it's in West Africa, the most populous black nation in the world. To be precise, the best place to be. Very beautiful place and blessed human beings. Yes, you heard that from me. No taking a pinch out of that. And this is your program, SOUQ Pulse. SOUQ News is the station, and we are all about positive programming. On SOUQ Pulse will tell you this straight tagline: don't keep quiet, keep talking. I talk, same you should. All of us will talk. Your neighbors, even those you're having malice with, those you're keeping malice with, those you're quarreling with, let's just talk. SOUQ Pulse will look at things that affect every one of us. Minor, big. We'll look at businesses, micro, small, medium, big. We'll look at loans, who is giving, who is taking. We'll look at policies. Who exactly are those policies meant for? Are they favoring the people? Is it from the country? Is it from people that have given you loans? We look at development. We look at nations that have gone way ahead. We look at technology. We just look at things that's supposed to advance human development, and we talk. But we have a bias for Africa, that you know by now. And we say, hey, we need to join the race. But today is Saturday, a day before Saturday. So we'll tone it down. We'll talk about something every one of us know. Something most people have or really want to have. Then we'll talk about what is going into that particular thing and ask Africa, are you really producing this? Or what part are you playing in it? Now, let's look at our population first. Now, Africa is blessed with well over 1.4 billion people. Let's bring it down to Nigeria. Nigeria will have well over 210 million people. Now, of this population, a sizable number have cars. Some more than one. Some exotic cars. Some cars that you just want to look at. Some the normal day car. Some second-hand cars on a very high percentage. Now we also get to look at most of these cars were imported. 90% of them are foreign brands. 99% of them live off spare parts coming outside Africa. So you know where I'm heading to. You know where we are going to. Now, if we are saying let's get productive, we should get to play where there is business, where there is money to be made, where there is FX to be saved. Now we are asking you directly this question: vehicle spare parts. For this particular car's brand, it doesn't matter the name, that is on the street of every African community, there are parts that need to keep them running. Now, after selling the vehicles to us, after we paying for them, importing them, paying duty for them, we now also have to depend on you for the spare parts. That is where we are going to, the productivity in that particular aspect. Vehicle spare parts, importation versus manufacturing in Africa. And we are asking this direct question: who is losing? Who is gaining? There is a balance in Nigerian streets. They say, get sense. That's what we're talking about today. For every single person you see driving a car, he has a mechanic's number. I didn't say that, but you heard it from me. So now, for every mechanic that you get to, there is a spare part, either to fix, to repair, or to buy. So where are those spare parts coming from? Now, to put light, and we'll get to talk about this, we're not going to take that too serious. We'll talk about it on a lighter note. We most likely will not argue today, but we'll look at our reality and give ourselves some part or some knocks. To talk about this is no other but Bamidele Ajayi, who happens to be a very renowned automobile expert, and he's the CEO of Global XXX Performance. And for those that also don't know, he is a certified executive car testing driver. You heard that from me. So he will be joining us all the way from Australia, and I hope that time belt will be favorable today. So, Bamidele, yes, he's smiling and looking at me. Good afternoon and welcome to SOUQ Pulse.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. It's around 1:30 here in the morning. So I had to stay up just to attend to this.
Thank you very much. 1:30 in the morning. Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Once I remember Australia, things that come to my mind is seeing those nice, beautiful pictures of snakes that are larger than
No,
life
no,
falling off
no.
people's roofs. I
No,
hope you
no,
don't
no, no. That's just
leave any
no, 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 no.
place.
Not at all. That's wildlife, but it's a very beautiful place. It's a place to be. It's a place to call home.
It's nice to hear that. Now, seeing you in this mode, I also recall several times when I see you on the streets of some very beautiful streets in some cars I might not know, and I'm looking at the speedometer of that car, and it's doing something above 200, and I'm asking myself, Father Lord, let this guy get to his destination. So, are you testing any car anytime soon?
We do it on a regular basis, but mostly not in Nigeria. So we use the German highways because they have some highways where you don't have speed limits. You can really go fast and then, you know, enjoy the drive.
You call that enjoy the drive, okay? Let me hold your word to it. Enjoy the drive. Now, let's get to what we're talking about today. We're looking
It,
at car spare parts. And I know very well that aside the driving, aside going around and testing cars and certifying cars, you are also an expert when it comes to fixing cars and giving solutions to every major type of vehicle. Now, as an African and a Nigerian to be precise, I'm going to bring this back home. How many of these spare parts do we produce in Africa? Let's start from there.
okay. You see, one thing is, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we manufacture any parts in Nigeria. I don't think so. I have no idea. Maybe all these new upcoming vehicles like Innosong or something like that. They might have plants where they manufacture parts, but the major cars, say Toyotas, Mercedes, Hondas, I don't think those parts they are all imported.
All the major brands, okay, like the few you've mentioned right now, they import their spare parts.
Yes,
Now, let's also look at some particular numbers. Africa did well over 7 point something billion in dollars. Now, this is for data that was recorded. We know several of some other importation come from places that are not recorded. Now, for those that are recorded, Africa did well, nearly 7 billion. Nigeria did well above 4 point something billion. Now, this is FX that has gone to
yes,
some other people's hands. Jobs that have gone to some other people's
yes,
hands.
yes,
Trainings that have gone to some other people's hands. Is there
definitely.
no way where we can start looking at these foreign brands and ask them, if we are using your cars, put some manufacturing for spare parts in Africa, somewhere in Africa, if not Nigeria, somewhere where they have light?
Okay, one thing I'll say is in Nigeria, it's very difficult to do business. The atmosphere is not conducive at all. So any partnership you want to do with anybody, there's always difficulties. We have companies here that are ready to move to Nigeria, but there are too many clauses and it's a setback for us. Do you understand? That's just what I see. Everything is possible. The government have to help us in doing this. They are not helping at all.
We are looking at government have to help, and government is not helping. But now, if we say government, is this government not us? Are we separate from the government? At what point in time should we start holding ourselves responsible? Like if I hold my neighbor
Uh,
whose uncle happens to be in the Senate responsible, and he knows that if he's coming back, I'll wait for him at the gate, don't you think he will live up to his bidding?
it's you see, when we want to go into that, it's going to be very difficult. These things, the raw materials needed, let's even start from the fastest thing that can be done, brake pads. It's very easy to do. You just need the form. They tell you what and what you have to mix, do the press, and you have the brake pads. That's the easiest, I feel. That's the easiest thing that can be done. But most of the brake pads in Nigeria, they're all imported. Be it from China, be it from America or Europe, they are all imported. We always advise that, and I think in Nigeria, we're not organized. Do you understand? We need the government to really put things in the right position that will be conducive for us to start producing as little as brake pads.
Little as brake pads. Now let's look at India.
Yeah.
Some years back, India had this particular vehicle called Tata. I think I still remember very well. That was an ugly, let
It's
me not
still
use
very
some kind of
available.
word. That was an ugly car. I almost said an ugly SH stuff, but let's not go there. But look at Tata today. Everyone is driving it. Everyone is liking it. Same thing happened
Yes.
to Kia.
Yes.
That was some very, very funny looking car. But today they have some
True.
brands that are off the hook. Where and when
Yes.
can Nigeria wake up and say, okay, let's get sense and do something? What is stopping us?
Um, you see, Nigerians were gifted. I won't doubt that. But the will to do things on our own is just missing. We have one of the best engineers, we have one of the best surgeons, we have one of the best scientists. Just go anywhere around the world. A place where you don't find Nigerians, there's nothing in that place. That I can tell you. But I think the environment, that country, Nigeria, is not just, I don't know, my way of thinking, there's nothing impossible. That's my thought. Anything about cars, there's nothing we cannot do to repair it. People will tell you this particular brand is problematic. I don't see it that way. I'll give you an example. There's a particular Benz, it's called 274 engine. A lot of people complain about it. They lose the engine based on when you over demand power from the engine. But I don't see it like that because I drive a 274 engine and I don't have any problem with it. Do you understand? So what I feel is it boils down to the government as well. They are not assisting us. I don't know how to put it. There's something missing. Okay, I came to Germany, I studied, I learned, I have my everything, but I still go back home. If people like me could bring back the knowledge they get from abroad and bring it back to Nigeria, I think we'll go a long way. Everybody's leaving the country because a lot of things are happening. Do you understand? I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I don't know.
Before you get to you don't know, let's get to the side that we know. Let's get to some markets. Now, I will call some
Yeah.
names, and I know you know these places very well because some of your customers or those that you consult for, if they've not been there, they've told you about them. Ladipo, just nod your head. You know
Yes.
where that is.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Panteka, that happens to be in the north. Now you have Mbuka, that somewhere, Mbuka, Mbo, that happens to be in Onisha. You have Asa, Aloji, that happens to be somewhere in Aba. Now, all these places are known major
Yeah.
places where they sell spare parts. But one thing unique
Yeah.
about all of them is that the major parts they sell there are second-hand spare parts. Now, this gets us asking,
Yes.
it's Nigeria more of a dump for second-hand vehicles and the spare parts?
Um, you know, let me put it this way. The cost of the original parts, they are quite high. So people opt for the second hand. Now, most of the parts in Nigeria, they are all China. Now, one thing about China is they also do good stuff. I will not fail them for that. I will not fault them for that. They do good stuff, depending on your demand, what you tell them to do for you. Now, People will opt for Tokumbo because it's the original part, but it's used. Now, if you go for a new one, you find out that the price of the new one is cheaper than a Tokumbo. On the normal side, the part of the price of a new one is supposed to be higher than a used one. So definitely you know that what you are buying is China, which is not durable. For example, a brake pad for Benz might be as high as maybe 100 euros. That's about 150,000 naira. Now, if you get a new one in Nigeria, you might be getting for 35,000. So definitely they will not serve the same purpose. So people rather say, oh, instead of me buying a new axle, a new transmission, I'd rather go for a used one because the cost of a new one, it's ridiculously high. The used one, if you get a good one, it will serve you almost the same purpose.
Some knowledge you're sharing. Now, does that answer the question why when you go to a repair shop, they'll just look at you and say, no, just go buy the Tokumbo, leave the new one?
The thing is, I get my parts, I buy them from abroad because Nigerian parts, most of them, they are all China. When I compare prices and I go online, I see that, oh, my brake pad is costing me 100 euros and you offer me for 50,000. It doesn't add up. So I know what you're offering me is fake or substandard. That's the way I see it. Now, I tell my clients, I said, look, I'm very direct in my dealings. This is the price. If you can't afford this, you can go for this. It will serve you, but it is not like this. So mostly when it comes to transmission, replacements of engine, axle, and all that, you can go for a used one. But when you come to suspension, lower arm, upper arm, and all those things, you'd rather go for a new one. The engine is quite expensive. I mean, a new engine, a Toyota, maybe a 4-cylinder, a new engine can be as high as $6,000-7,000. Meanwhile, if you want to get a Tokumbo, that will also last you another 4-5 years, if not more. If you maintain it well, you can go longer. You get it for maybe 1 million or 2 million naira. So the choice is yours. If you feel you have the funds to buy a new one, fine. If not, the Tokumbo will serve you almost the same purpose.
Could it all boil down to cash flow or availability of money? Could it be what is pushing people to go for the, let's say, the inferior rather than going for the original?
Yeah, funds are not available as well. That's, I can give it to you. The funds are not available because if you look at minimum wage or a normal salary earner and you're driving as low as Toyota, that's a regular car, and you want to change the brake pad, a normal Toyota brake pad, original, you're talking about 90, 100,000. And you get one in the market, they tell you 12,000 or 13,000. Definitely that pad is going to spoil your brake disc, which is going to cost you more money. So everything boils down to cash. The cash is not there. I need to charge my phone in 1 minute. Sorry.
Still here, and we have delay. He's trying to get his technicals done. Now, we are looking at spare parts. We are looking at things that keep 99.9% of Africa moving. Our vehicles, be it the big, be it the small, be it the ones for haulage, be it the ones for family, or just be the ones for recreation. And we're asking ourselves, if we have this lot, what part of this production chain is Africa playing in? These are things that concern us. These are things that are very, very, very important. Because if we keep importing, imagine the amount of cars we bring in. Those that we have already, those that have been used, be it in 10, 15, 20, or 50 years. These things are everly going to be with us. It's not like our buildings that we build here. The money circulates around here. If we have to import, we import a few and use local products. But for the cars, aside the how many? A few assembling plants. Now, for the assembling plant, a lot of the materials they use for assembling is also imported. Now, if we go that route, which means a lot of the spare parts are also imported. Now, we are asking ourselves, why are we not playing in that sector? Because this is one particular sector that is with us. Just like the way we eat, just like the way we have food, we have the farm, that we are not even doing justice to that. Now we are looking at movement, we're looking at transportation. We should be playing here. He talked about the brake pads. Well, I know some people and some companies, it doesn't matter how local, they try to do some of that brake pad somewhere in Newi or that. But now, to what extent are they serving the purpose for why it's there in the first place? Now we are asking ourselves, why and how are we making India one of the highest import source for spare parts for a country like Nigeria? Why and how are we depending on the United States for same purpose? Then we also talk about China. Now a whole lot of the ones that we call new is coming from there. Where are we playing? Somebody will say, Chuks, why are you talking like that? If I don't talk like that, what will we do? We will keep sitting and folding our hands and telling ourselves some basic things that will just be excused on daily basis. Who should we hold responsible? Me? You? Now let's ask ourselves, how much have you spent, you that have the car, how much have you spent on your car in the last 1 year? If you calculate it, you will be shocked that you've spent more on your car than you spent on yourself. Yes, you heard me right. You might even have spent more on the car than you spent on the entire family. Think about that. We'll go on a very short break and we'll be right back. Yes, welcome back. It's SOUQ Pulse. My name is Chuks John-Rogers Chuks, and we still have Bamidele Ajayi, our car expert. He's still here with us. So, Dele, let's get back to the markets we were talking about. Now, we were looking, I called several markets, and I took my time to call them because they were all separated in the major zones in Nigeria, major states in Nigeria, from the west, Lagos, down to the north, down to the east, down to the middle belt. Now, is it possible for this market, now let's go beyond the market, is it possible for the businessmen within this market to form an alliance and say, okay, let's start a production hub? Is it possible?
There's nothing impossible. It's just a will to do it. There's something we call borrowed technology, which I believe everybody can borrow technology. These things they're not so difficult. It's just, I think the government are not just making things, it boils down to the government that we have. They're not making things easy for us. Imagine if you want to export something from Nigeria, it's a problem. You want to import something from Nigeria, it's also a problem. You want to import something into Nigeria, it's also a problem. So these things need to be cleared first. Do you understand? We can just imagine here in Germany, we have like a network where if you need something, I can easily call my next workshop and tell them, oh, I need this. But in Nigeria, those platforms, there's this trust issue. Do you understand? There's this trust issue in Nigeria. There's no cooperation. Everybody wants to be a master on his own. A lot of factors. It is doable. If they come together and they say they want to do it, the Igbos are very good in this. If they come together and they say they want to do it, they can do it.
Look at importation of these spare parts. To what extent will you say importation of spare parts is costing Nigeria? Before we talk about Africa as a whole,
a lot.
Every single car being driven is imported. 90% of the spare parts
Imported. Yes.
are all imported.
Yes.
So what is it costing Nigeria?
All fairly used, new. Come again, please.
99.9% of all the cars driven in this country are imported. Now, the spare parts used in fixing them
Yes.
definitely are imported. So these imported spare parts, what is it costing Nigeria?
Oh, billions of dollars. I have no figure, but it's a lot.
Let's look at the experience. Let's look at possibilities of starting businesses, no matter how small. Even if it's the akara woman that will end up supplying akara to the people that are likely going to make the brake pads, or the bread seller that have to open a bakery because a whole lot of people are gathering in one place to make one particular part or the other. Are we not just refusing to think? That is just where my mind is going to, and that's what I'm thinking about. What exactly can we do to kickstart us to say, okay, good, let's play in this sector?
That's a difficult one. Production is not my thing, so I can't really say much. But the thing is, it is doable. It is even cheaper for us if we manufacture these things in Nigeria because we have the raw materials. I'll give you the easiest one. Let's say brake pad. I think that's the easiest among most of car parts. The brake pad, you just need the form. They tell you the mixture, what and what you're supposed to use. You press, and then you have the brake pad ready. I think for a start, we can start with brake pad. Then another thing about Nigeria is quality control is always very important. Most of the things done in Nigeria, the quality control is not there. And when you come to brake, that's the life. If my brakes are not good, I can kill people. It can fail. It might not be that active. So even when we start to produce in Nigeria, there are a lot of disadvantages. The offices in charge of this quality control, they are not active. Most of the cars on Nigerian roads, the government are just being partial. If you look at the yellow buses, they are not supposed to be on the road. That's a danger. Do you understand? Most of them don't have brakes. They don't have lights. But the road safety will not go after them. They will rather go after private cars. A lot of you see, Nigeria, we can do it. We can get it right. We just need the right people to be there. I'm telling you, it is doable.
Okay, it's doable. We just need the right people to be there. Okay, we'll take one more question, then we'll go on a break. When we return, we'll go on a different level from where we are right now. Let's look at government policies. We've had policies that of recent have been encouraging assembling of cars in Nigeria. Is it good? Yes. But can we start looking at policies that will address the ones that we have now? Policies that can say, okay, good, if you are importing any form of spare parts, then you have a particular quota. When that quota is filled up, then you have to start producing them here. Can we start having those kind of policies?
Um, I'll put it this way. You can have those policies, but there's nothing like you producing those things in Nigeria. But I see that Nigerians were not ripe for that kind of market. There are too many loopholes. There are too many. Do you understand? You can always buy your way in Nigeria, and it's not right. Do you understand? Even though when we produce things, first and foremost, the standard is very important. If we don't have the standard, we don't get the standard right, we are endangering lives. Do you understand? So everything, I will still put it, it boils down to the government. They need to put some offices in charge of this thing to do regular inspection, quality control. If they don't do it, anybody can just do any brake pad or any plug and say it's standard and they sell it, which is not right. In Germany, in Australia here, they have quality. You can't just bring anything and say you want to sell it. I mean, if it's not up to standard, all that product is going to go off the market. So the government, I'll still boil it down, the government still has to do a lot. in this our industry, or else we'll be losing lives every day.
My name is Chuks John-Rogers Chuks, and I have our guest who happens to be a car expert, a very good one at that. And Mr. Dele Ajayi, he's been here and we've been talking about spare parts and asking ourselves, if we have all this amount of cars scattered all over Africa, why do we still have to import spare parts till date, till tomorrow? Now we are going to shift this discussion a bit and now go to marketing of the spare parts in the first place. Now we have several spare parts market scattered across Nigeria and across Africa. Now, if we start manufacturing spare parts in Nigeria, what impact, positively or negatively, do you think it will have on these various markets and the people within this business of importing and selling spare parts?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Come again.
We're looking at the markets that the people in the business of selling spare parts currently across Africa, across Nigeria, across all the whole major markets. If we start producing spare parts in Nigeria, will it have a positive or negative impact? Can you tell us what sort of impact will it have on the market and on their businesses?
You can see it in two ways. If we start production here, we still need them to sell the part to the people that need them, because once we start producing here, they will also be our distributor. So it's even better for them. Exchange rate is very high today, and then it will reduce stress on them. So it's always a positive thing if we can do the production in Nigeria.
Flip side of it. Now, because I'm just looking at it from the custom duty side of it, for those that are declared, cars and car spare parts are one of those things that customs make a lot of revenue from, and they just latch on it.
Yeah.
Now, are we having a case whereby the government is focused on the custom duty collected from cars and car spare parts and forgetting that we can really manufacture these things here? Is it a case? Is it what we are having? Is it what we are facing?
I don't think so. I think the will is not there to do all these things. I praise this gentleman, this Innocent. I really praise him. I respect him. Even going that extra length. The cars, they're okay, but they're made in Nigeria. You understand? So the more imports the more imports we bring into the country, the more effects we demand, the higher the dollar rate will go up, because we are demanding more than we actually have. So definitely the dollar price will go up. Another thing is production in Nigeria will reduce the load on the FX. That's my opinion, because these parts that we buy from Dubai, from India, and from China, we are going to buy dollars, change the dollars to their currency, very few people bring back dollars. So definitely the load on the FX will reduce, which is going to be a positive thing for the country if we can be producing these things in Nigeria.
Let's pull from your experience. I know very well that you are not just an expert in fixing cars, you are also a certified expert in testing out cars. And you just mentioned something about Innocent. Have you, by chance, tested any of Innocent vehicles? Or any other made in Nigerian assembled vehicles?
No, but I see them. I've not done that, but I see them. No. Those cars are relatively new. So, I mean, when you have new cars, fixing, it's just, they might come in for service, but I've not really had the opportunity to do that. I would like to test and, give my opinion, but seeing them, I think they're okay.
Okay. Now let's take this conversation further. Sometime last year, there was this particular buzz on the X platform, Twitter to be precise, and a young man stood up and was critiquing that particular vehicle brand and said they were not good. Now let's put it side by side with your observation, since you've not tested it. Will you agree with that, or will you debunk what the young man said?
You see, opinions differ. I've not tested it. I can't tell. But, I think it's more of, I won't say the Nigerian thing. There's always a clause on cars. Oh, this one has electrical problem. Oh, this one has engine problem. This car is not good. No. Once you have the right mechanics, I think every car is okay. These engineers, they do a lot of tests before they release this vehicle. So I don't think any company, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Audi, I don't think they'll just throw out something that is not good. They must have gone through different tests, different stages before they now say, oh, we're going to do this in hundreds, in thousands. So that comment, I don't know what the person experienced. I can't really say much about it. But as long as due test has been done before it goes into production, there might be callbacks. It's very possible. There might be callbacks on electrical stores. I don't know what the person said. I don't know what the person saw, his experience. I don't know, but I'll reserve my comments till I do my findings. Maybe one day I have the opportunity to drive the car and then I can give my own opinion about the car. But seeing them drive around in Lagos, I think.
Now we have Innocent, we have Nod, we have Lanre Shitu Motors, and the number is gradually climbing. Is it a positive thing? And will you advise Nigerians to look forward and purchase these cars, and also look at the finance houses and say, okay, good, why not finance people or push people towards this side? Is this something you think we should be doing at this point in time, or should we just remain with our tokumbos?
It's a choice thing. If you have funds, you feel you can afford a Rolls Royce, go ahead and buy it. If you have funds, you think you can afford a Toyota, go ahead and buy it. But, for the sake of the country and the general situation of things, I think a made in Nigeria won't be bad.
Made in Nigeria will not be bad. Now, talking about spare parts, I want to get your final comments before you get to leave us. 1:30, you should be sleeping. Now, tell us, if you happen to be the Minister of Industry tomorrow, we know that in the last 1 year of the president's administration, we wake up in the morning and he has sacked somebody in the night and we'll see a replacement in the morning. So let's say this is your night, and by the time you wake up, he has sacked the guy that is there and makes you the minister. What will you change with how we import spare parts into this country?
Okay, let me go a little bit deeper. You see, Nigeria is a very complex place. We, the people, make it complex. I'll give you an example. To me, if I have the opportunity to even rule the country, I will close down Aboki FX. Everybody that wants to buy dollar should buy it from the bank. There's no way in the world that you buy dollar on the street. Walk into the bank, buy your dollars, and then you walk out. There's a record for people buying these dollars. We have issues because we deal mostly with forex. We need to buy parts, we need to do this. And we also feel for the customers because the prices of this FX are quite high. A brake pad that we buy for when dollar was maybe 200, a brake pad that we buy for $100, that was 20,000. Now a dollar is about 1.5. It's ridiculous. That's you're buying it for almost 150. If I happen to be, I'll put in more of made in Nigeria. We can actually talk to Toyota. We have more of Toyota, we have more of Hondas in Nigeria. We can talk to them. Look, we're buying a lot of your cars. Come and set up a plant here. If you don't, we increase the tariff of bringing your cars to Nigeria. These things are doable. We just need the right government. I'm telling you, it is doable. Nigeria is so blessed. We have everything. Once we get it right from the top, the sky is our limit.
Thank you very much, Dele. It's been a pleasure holding you and taking your sleep this night in your side and this evening on our own side. Thank you very much for your first time on SOUQ Pulse, and I hope when we call you next time, you'll answer us. Thank you very much, Dele.
Definitely. Thank you for having me. All right, good night.
For everyone that has been part of this production today, we want to say thank you. For the crew, the cameramen, the people within the control room, everyone that took care of me and the sound, we want to say thank you. Now, all of us together, we sit and we tell you, there is nowhere like home. Home is where the heart is. And if we fix it, then it's good for us. Now, this is a sector we have to play. We can't run away from it. Everybody needs to move. If you're not commuting to work, you're going to your place of worship. If we are not moving food from the farm, then we are moving waste of food back to the farm. So what excuse is it that we have not to play in this sector? We need to get active and produce our own spare parts. Let's save some good effects. Let's get productive. It's me, it's you, it's every one of us. Now, also, for the government that have taken several stray bullets, don't take it personal. Just sit up. My name is Chuks John-Rogers. We'll do this again on Monday. Remember, it's SOUQ Pulse, SOUQ News. It's all about positive programming. We love you, and I say have yourself a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Bye.